I'm Sonya Morton Firth and you're tuned in to the Sonya Morton Firth Show. Today I'm at Cardiff Castle at the Veterans Awards interviewing Sean Molino. Welsh Guards veteran Sean now runs Forces Fitness, an award-winning company. In 2019, Sean received a British Citizen Award and he is also an ambassador for the Welsh Government. He founded the Veteran Awards that recognises veterans and companies, inspiring future leaders to go on and be role models after life in the forces. Sean, I actually always start by saying thank you for being a guest on my show, but actually I'm a guest here and we're at Cardiff Castles and you've kindly invited me down to their Veterans Award. Wow, thank you so much. I feel really honoured to be here, and I mean that from my whole of my heart. But thank you for being a guest on my show today.
No, thank you. Honestly, thank you for making the trip down. I know it's a long way, but I think you'll agree. It's a
lovely
location.
It's fantastic being here in Wales and in amongst, well, we're just coming out, hopefully, the throes of lockdown, but we're here in Cardiff Castle and it's been an amazing day. So, Sean, I've got to ask you, of course, the question, how did the Veterans Awards all start and what was your sort of inspiration and idea? What was the idea behind it?
I think the inspiration for me is really to try and reward all the veterans and these companies and our military community doing great things. I was sat in an award ceremony through my business, which is Forces Fitness, many moons ago, and I sat there and I thought to myself, why haven't we got a Veterans Awards in Wales? Why is there no National Veterans Awards in Wales? And at that point, there was no National Veterans Awards anywhere in Wales, England, Scotland, or Northern Ireland.
And how long has it been going?
So it's a year now. So it's a year. Obviously, it was a build-up of a year because there's a bit of a pre-build-up. Yeah. So it's been 2 years the project's really been running, but literally one full year. So we had awards in Wales and England last year, and we've got Wales, England, and Scotland, obviously due to be held this year, but obviously we're in the COVID crisis,
and
as they say.
And you've done all of this in the middle of the crisis. Hats off to you.
I know. And to be fair, it's been great. And I mean, the staff at the Firing Line Museum have been absolutely fantastic, Cardiff Castle, and we've managed a fully socially distanced finalist certificate giving day. We're still going to have our black tie dinner. We're still going to have that. Good. We push that back a little bit. But it's nice to give all these people who are doing great things something to shout out about and really give them the audience and you know the promotion that they deserve.
What gave you the idea or the motivation to do it?
I think the motivation for me is that when I've looked, you only have to look on social media sometimes. There's enough doom and gloom about serving in the military, and there is, and you see that everywhere. Sometimes in national papers, and sometimes you see there's a lot of issues through maybe homeless issues, PTSD, or even soldier prosecutions. And there are strong issues that we all need to talk about, and strong issues that I feel a lot, I feel very heartfelt for as well, and I'm a big supporter of. But what I wanted to try and do is just try and get some of the positive stories, even from those areas, the success stories that have come through, so people think that it isn't all doom and gloom. When I go to leave the army, you know, there are good people out there, there's good mentors, there's good business leaders out there, and there's people that are doing great things. So I want them to act as role models, and again, as mentors for them to go to as a sort of point of contact when they're due to leave, or even if veterans are out and thinking of a career change. Look on the site, you know, pick our brains. We've got a fantastic network of veterans who are doing great things, and also those companies who support us as well.
And do you think, how do the veterans look at the awards? I mean, is it something, because obviously you think of medals and awards as something that you potentially could gain through the military. Do they take well to having this sort of awards?
Well, I think from our side, they have very well, and that's where they've been very, very successful. And I think the idea is that what we want to try and promote is it isn't about the winner. All right, it isn't about the winner, and that's the message I want to get across to everybody. Right? It's not about the winner, it's about our community coming together to celebrate the success of our community. Yeah, that may make sense. So whoever wins, they're part of our community, and that's what it's about. It's about promoting these positives, to give people that sort of inspiration and drive to think, you know, I can do that too. If I can do it, listen, I wasn't no angel in the army, all right, and people who know that when they serve with me, I was a good soldier.
They'll be watching this and going, I remember
him, I know. So, I mean, I got a distinction on my corporal's course as a PT, I was good, but also I got in a lot of trouble. I used to do the main things that soldiers used to do, go out drinking, and that's what used to happen. So, you know, I know as well, if I can do it, if I can do it and, you know, refocus and sort of energize my life in one way and focus on the positives and drive forward in business and in this not-for-profit that we're running, then anybody can do it, you know, and that's the message you want to get out there, that it isn't all doom and gloom. You know, try and refocus and look towards the sort of positive aspects, try and turn things like failure into positives, look at how you can learn and move forward. And they're just sort of key things that I've done in my life, which has done me very well in business, but also very well in helping, you know, being the sort of founder of the Veterans Awards. It's not just me. Obviously, there's a board of directors that are all doing great things, even though I'm sort of seem to be the figurehead at the moment. But, you know, I've got a really good, strong board of directors who give up their time to put all this together as well, and we're very thankful for that too.
You just mentioned there, and I know this about you, you are a very positive person, and that's almost your mantra, isn't it? I'm all about the positivity. But you were in the Welsh Guards.
Yes.
You served as well. Where did this positive attitude come from? Or is it something you just sort of woke up and thought one day, wow, I'm Mr. Positive?
No, it's a thing for me. When I was younger, I probably wasn't very positive. I think when I was in the Welsh Guards, I probably wasn't overly positive. I was very fitness focused. I've always been fitness focused, so that's one thing. So I left the military, I transitioned, I went into the health and leisure industry, run a few health and leisure clubs, then I went across sort of chasing money. I worked for the biggest food retailers in the whole of Europe, and I was one of their training academy managers. So I was on a big high salary, a lot of money, and I was on, you know, I was earning, well, I say a lot of money.
Happy?
Yeah, it was on a lot of money. It was, you know, the missus was happy.
But were you happy? Were you fulfilled? Like, we talked about this. Is it something that you were like, fantastic, I've made it, I'm making loads of money?
Well, it wasn't for me, and in one way, in fact, it had a bit of an adverse effect on me towards the end, and, you know, I was on this, like, 50, 60k a year, which I lived 2 miles away from my house. In Wales, that's a lot of money. People in London, it's not, I know. But we were fully expensed Audi as well, so in a fully expensed Audi,
wow,
didn't pay for a fuel card, and you know what, but I was going into work to the end, and I was thinking, what am I doing with my life? What am I really doing with my life? And I'm a big believer in that you're going to make the changes in your life. You're the only person, no one's going to change it for you. And I think I had enough one day, and I went into work, and I said, look, that's it for me. I've just, you know, handed my notice in, and I more or less worked my 4 weeks, and I finished. But then I transferred to something that I really love and I enjoy, and that's where Forces Fitness was born, and I've got a very big passion for that. And that has really given me the positive vibes. And I'm a massive believer in as well that I've got a great wife who backs me in my decisions. And, you know, when I went home and told her, who was a stay-at-home mum at the time and had been for quite a long time, that, look, you know, I've just sort of jacked on my job and quit my job. And she was like, oh my God, Bet sort of understood that for my own sort of mental health and what I want to do and drive, that I think it needed to happen. And that was a very big turning point in my sort of life, really, where I spend a lot more time now with my family. I work from home. But I had to make it work. I had a big mortgage. I had to make Forces Fitness work, if that made sense. But off the back of handing my notice in, sort of Veterans Awards were born then because I could spend more time with the Veterans Awards. Yes. I would never have been able to set the Veterans Awards up and run Forces Fitness and be a high-level manager. That wouldn't happen because you're working 50, 60 hours a week for a big company. And so it's really how some things change. And I'm a massive believer in, again, surrounding myself with good, positive people, and then they help and support you in life. And my wife's obviously one of those. And,
well, as I say, behind every great man, there's a great woman that's just
agree.
there.
I agree.
So you've got, I mean, you run Forces Fitness. Now tell me a little bit about that company, because you mentioned your passion was health and fitness.
Yes.
I share that passion.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
definitely.
very well.
And you were a personal trainer in the army. Was that right?
Well, I was a physical training instructor in the army. Yeah. So my role there was to keep on top keep the fitness on top of all the troops before they deploy on operations all around the world. So the men and women, and that was my job to keep them fit. And I've always kept my finger in fitness since I've left. It's a big, and that's why I'm very thankful for the military. My first leadership courses, my physical training instructor course, that gave me the sort of core foundation, my building blocks to the person that I am today.
Is there a link, do you think, between the mentality, and this is just something that I'm just putting out there, is there a link between the mentality in the military, that dedication, that real go-getting attitude, fitness, because obviously you've got to be fit to be in the military is part of it, and being successful at business?
I think I think there's obviously mental fitness, physical fitness, and overall well-being, and I think there is a link. There is definitely a link. In my side, I think if you can keep on top of your body and keep on top of your mind, you know, that has a good effect on your overall well-being. That doesn't mean beating yourself in a CrossFit gym. It doesn't mean going out and hammering yourself. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't.
I'm so glad you said that.
Like
CrossFit is out there.
I talk a lot to about people, about, you know, doing things that they enjoy and really cementing the five ways of well-being, which is sort of, you know, getting outside, taking notice of people, giving back, getting out doing exercise. But it could mean that you're just taking your camera out. You're going for a walk at Brecon, sitting down, taking some photos, and you're going for a walk somewhere else. That is exercise. Taking the dog for a walk is exercise. Going for a walk, you don't have to get zoned into the fact that you have to hammer yourself in a gym. And I think that's where some people get a little bit scared of, oh my God, I've got to go to the gym. Yeah, but you go to the gym and you have a good trainer or someone that can help you and point you in the right direction of a good program, then that's where you're sort of living the dream. And this is where experts and, you know, good fitness professionals will come in and help and advise people.
And now you're helping you were helping schools and the local community as well. Tell me a little bit about those projects.
So we run a programme in Wales, and I was actually invited to the Palace of Westminster to receive a British Citizen Award last year for the project that we run.
And I was reading up about this when I was doing my research.
Which was great. I know, it was unbelievable.
I didn't know what's a British Citizens Award.
So
it's terrible for me to ask.
So a British Citizen Award is for citizens within Britain that have gone above and beyond in different areas. They call it the People's Honours. So
well, congratulations, and just being here today, I can see you've gone above and beyond.
But I think the project that we run for me was fantastic because it was when I left my job and I had the idea, what can I do? And I thought I want to give something back, and I thought, right, I'm going to try and deliver sessions for free in every secondary school in Wales was my plan. Okay, that was my plan. Obviously didn't get to that, but it got to nearly 100, which is a lot. We done thousands and thousands of students, and it was completely for free. So I went around, and we delivered health and wellbeing sessions. So we educated them in health, diet, nutrition, split them into teams. They took part in various team exercises, a bit like military command tasks, team challenges. Some were physical, some were mental, and then we were asking them quiz questions in between. So very much competition-driven, competition format. There was a winner, there was a loser, there was no taking part medal. It was like, right, get in there, But it was very military as well, and we put the spin on it. So it was quite niche, and we had so much great feedback from that. So much great feedback, and very thankful enough that I was put forward by some great people for the British Citizen Award from the schools that I worked in. They actually nominated me for that award, which was great for me, and I was very thankful for that.
That's great. What do you think about all this obesity? And obviously they say now that children and kids, there's a lot of obesity out there. Mm-hmm. Now you mix into the mix the whole COVID thing. People are coming out of lockdown. Some people have been exercising like crazy, but a lot of people are sat on their sofa with a few beers, and obviously kids haven't been going to school, so they've been homeschooling. What do you think it says for our nation? Because I've got to say, this whole opening up the pubs, and I like my drink now and again, definitely. But when it came to opening up the pubs and not opening the gyms, didn't quite see that.
I didn't understand that logic at all, apart from maybe it's a revenue driver,
well,
to be honest with you. Business perspective and the government potentially that's what they look at. I don't see why there would be any difference if he's someone in a pub, and to be fair, social distancing when people are drunk is probably nearly impossible for even the nicest person in the world. I genuinely think that wouldn't be able to happen. I think that, with regards to the obesity crisis through lockdown, it is bad. It is getting bad. The government statistics are stating that as well. And we're in Wales, which at the moment is potentially the worst country for that out of the home nations, which isn't good. Again, that was a driver where I tried to.
Why? What is it about? Because it rains all the time. I don't
know what the stats are on that. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know how. But it is the worst of the home nations obesity. But I think again, it's just setting yourself some goals and having a positive mindset. I mean, I look at people, and when we were off, I sort of sat down with the kids and we said, we'll do an hour of schoolwork a day, we'll do an hour a bit of gym with dad, a bit of fun, and we got a little bit of a routine, and I tried to make it fun. And so my kids then automatically liked it. They wanted to do a little bit of fairs. It might have just been a walk, we might have done something different, we might have even taken the electric scooter out for a bit and walked in between, but you make it fun, don't you? And I think that, I know I've got a bit of a knowledge in that, which does help, and not everybody potentially has got that sort of in-depth knowledge of how to do things and try and do things in a fun way, but we're all responsible for our own health, obviously, and we're all responsible for our children's health. And I think that we just need to try and maybe set some goals and try and make it fun. I think fun is key on it, especially with children. We don't want to beast them going, right, you're not coming in, you need to be...
Then you give them complexes when they grow older.
And we live in an age where social media, and there's so much with Instagram, and there's so much with, what's the word? Photoshops. Everything's almost Photoshop now. Everything, you can see it.
You don't realise who... You can't look at people and go, do they actually look like that?
If I was dating, I probably wouldn't know who the person was when you met them, because they don't even look the same. That's the thing. So we live in this sort of almost fake in one way. It's very fake, and which is hard, and that's hard, I think, for mentally for the children that are growing up. I think physically, we're probably in the easiest time by work at the moment. So our nation at the moment, and this sort of age group now, are probably, in my mind, we've got it the easiest. With regards to work, we're not down mines, we're not going off fighting the wars, we're not cramped in. So physically and work-wise,
you're behind a desk, right?
We are.
most people are behind it as.
But they've got so much with the social media. I think that's the hard bit, I think, sometimes, is that it's a sort of double-edged thing, isn't it? I think social media for me is great for businesses. It's great for me. All of my business and the not-for-profits are run through social media,
And
all of them.
And you've won, and not just for yourself or what you do, but the businesses have won awards as well.
Yeah, I see the value in it. I see the value in it. I genuinely do, honestly, Sonya. I think it's. I think that, you know, as a company, we want to strive to be the best. To be the best as employer recognition scheme, which we've got to with our gold award. But that's just the start. We need to continue that standard now. I need to continue flying the flag for our veteran armed forces community. Just the same when I was awarded that BCA. It wasn't something I won. That's something I hold very dearly, and I will, you know, continue to do good things. I'll surround myself with good people. I'll help and support people as best I can.
And yet, how many years ago was it since you were in the forces?
So I left in 2005 as the Welsh within the Welsh Guards. And I did a year then back with the reserves in a roundabout. I think it was around 2013.
What do you think is it that keeps, I mean, I've been here today and given out certificates, met some lovely people. What do you think is it that gives veterans that, or want that sense of community? Because you've come out of the forces for a number of years. I've obviously met other veterans that have been out of the forces for years, but they still keep honing back to this community, and it is amazing and it's inspiring. But what do you think that's all about?
So I think personally, so when I originally left the army, and I think this is what happens with a lot of soldiers and military personnel. I've spoken to a few over the years. I've got, you know, some great friends that have come out. And originally, when you first leave, and I was a young man, don't forget, I was still young coming out.
You're still a young man.
When I come out, and I just saw, I think at that time I thought, right, that's me done now. Right, sod the army. And in all generally, that's what I thought. That's it, me. Right, I'm done. I'm going to crack civvy street. I'm a civvy now, and you know, I don't need anyone. I don't need any help from the army. I think, you know, so that tends to follow suit with a lot of people when they leave. But when I sat down and you get a bit older and you get a bit wiser, I think to be old and wise, once to be young and foolish is a definite saying that I would cement for me, is that when you self-reflect and you look back at things, and I do that quite often now, I'm in a good stage where I can actually look back, self-reflect on things and think, how can I improve stuff? That I actually realised that my time in the army gave me so much. And it gave me, you know, good leadership skills. It gave me, you know, great management skills. It gave me turning up on time, decent, how to speak to people correctly, you know, and polite and courteous, which was a great sort of foundation to build in my house, if you like to say. And we're still building that house because we're always constantly learning. And when I left, I added things in like social media marketing, people skills, customer service, bottom line, profit and loss. Then there's other things coming in now, like we just learn how to bid right, learn how to run a not-for-profit and be part of a board, whereas I've already run a company myself. So we're always learning, and I'm like a sponge sometimes. I'll soak up the things and most of the positive things off people and try and adapt them and help and support. But I'm overly thankful for, you know, being in the military. My military people, commanders at the time. So my company commander now is a Major General, so he's very high up in the military, and he messaged me on LinkedIn every now and again and said, look, Sean, I've been watching what you're doing. I was a young guardsman with him and a young Lance Corporal, and that means a lot. My company Sal Major now is a Lieutenant Colonel. He's still in the army, you know, and they stay in touch with me. And it's nice for them to say, look, Sean, it's great to see your journey, because admittedly, you know, when I was younger, I'll openly say it, I wasn't a, you know, an amazing, happy-go-lucky, positive guy, you know. But it's nice to see, and I like to look back on my journey and think that I've turned into a decent man. I just want to be, you know, make my kids proud in one way as well, to think, look, that's my dad, and he's done good. And they're drivers for you. I think family and you're making your kids proud when you have children, and they're big drivers for me.
Well, Sean, you are an inspiration. I've seen the veterans, talk to them today, and the very fact that you're rewarding and recognising them with this amazing organisation, it's fantastic. Well, what's going to go on? What's the future for you? I mean, obviously, we're here now, despite COVID, but you would have done maybe a black tie event. I know you were planning awards in Scotland. Where's the Veteran Awards going?
So was it sort of like a brand, and we call it as a brand Veterans Awards. I mean, we're obviously going to keep an eye on COVID. Next is the English, so we're doing this in England the end of this month. So that's the social distance certificate given, which is great. So at least we can get something in the diary, reward these veterans, and they can do something great.
And if anyone wants to nominate, how do they do
so
that?
Nomination closed at the moment, but they close, but feel free to go onto the Veterans Awards website, and everything is on there when we open those awards back up. We've had to push back Wales and Scotland to March, unfortunately, 2021, but with our Veterans Awards, it's just not about awards, and I think that's what I want to get the message across, and most people who are involved, or you know, people like yourselves and other people, they understand that it's more of a community where we celebrate the success from our community. People don't have to nominate to get a shout out on our social media sites. They just have to send the office in something and we'll do that for free. You know, if you are lucky enough to be nominated and you come down, all today's been put on for free for people. They come along, they pick their certificate, we do their filming, we'll give them social media blogs, which will go out all across our social media, and our media partners, which is Pathfinder Magazine and Veteran Owned UK also helps with Scott Johnson. He's a good friend and he sits on my inspirational panel, which will also push that out. But in answer to your question, so we've gone off on tangent a bit. We always have a certificate given, which is this one, socially distanced this time, mind, and we're always going to have a black tie award ceremony, and that is such a positive night for networking, for people, for companies who've got billions of pounds turnover, down to, you know, little Annie, who's maybe volunteering 20, 30 hours a week for SAFA or Change Step or Royal British Legion. And it's nice to have them all under one roof, getting their medals on for a really good occasion, something that the family can, you know, be proud of, something everyone can join in on. And it's just a nice evening. It's just a warm evening. And I've been to loads of award ceremonies in the past, loads and loads through business, other people being guests of people's. And do you know, when I was sat in Wales last year and England, and I just thought, you know, the vibe in the room, everyone was cheering each other. There was no, and usually sometimes there's bitchiness in some awards. Yeah,
yeah.
You know, and there is like someone,
yeah.
how's that guy got that? How's that got like that?
Yeah.
And it wasn't that. And that's what I think the mentality, hopefully, of our community is about, that even if someone else has won, they're from our community and they're celebrating the success and they're lifting up this profile of veterans in the military community in each relevant home nation.
Does the government do enough?
Oh, it's a tricky one, really. They go in with regards to veterans.
Yeah.
It's a hard one. I think that obviously the veterans minister, so he's been in position, I think it's for a year or two. Don't quote me on that now and crucify me about there, but I think it's a year or two. It's a hard one to break. I think the government probably, from my eyes, should be responsible 100% for the mental health and the care of veterans upon when they leave. And sometimes it shouldn't be left up to charities to deal with that. Yeah. I mean, I'm no mental health full guru, although I like to see myself as a health and wellbeing coach. And I've got some calls from mind and health and fitness and mental health. But I think that there does need to be more to be done. But I think also from my side, looking outside in, it needs to be a bit more centralised and people coordinated a bit more. There's so many different numbers and so many different charities that are out there, and I don't know if there could be...
It seems to be like it's reliant on charities
for
a job really where the government should be stepping up.
100%. I think that's what should happen, and I don't know the way discussions are going. I'm not in government myself, you know, and it's not something I want to go into either.
Does anyone know right now? I think there's a lot of people...
It's a tough gig, and it is a tough gig. You know, it's one of those things I think that's a hard sort of gig, local government councillors and stuff. It's not...
Today, COVID, we'll do this, we'll do...
Oh,
anyway.
No, it's a difficult one, isn't it? I just, you know, I want to see the successes. There's obviously with successes, there's issues, and there's issues that people need to overcome. And again, we talked a little bit about them at the start, and, you know, the homelessness issues, the soldier prosecutions, and also PTSD, and also other mental health issues as well that are going on. So it's not just PTSD. But yes, I think they could do more. But I think things need to be more coordinated and centralised, because we do rely on charities far too much, and they're doing a great job all the way out there.
So in 5 years' time, where are you going to be?
What's the situation? It's a new question now, isn't it? 5 years' time.
I don't normally do typical 5 years. Well, I could do your old self looking back, your younger self.
So I think 5 years' time. So I think 5 years' time for me. So I've got an aspiration with the Veterans Awards. We do want to take it to the Commonwealth, which is supposed to launch next year. So we looked at Canada, and we were going to run it out of Toronto, the Commonwealth Veterans Awards, and that was almost good to go. We had things in place, we got the database in place. It was just due to, we need some financial backers for that. Obviously, it's not something we can just run, and it's going to be a little bit more. So that's sort of, I put the burners on it. So I did actually stop approaching people because of the current climate. I thought, look, let's just sit on it this year now, and then when things start to open up, we'll go back to...
It's all about timing. Maybe it wasn't right then. Doesn't mean not...
And that's something that I would like to do. My own personal vision for me, that was a sort of a CIC vision. My own personal vision for me is, to be honest with you, just to spend more time with the family, and that might sound really crazy now.
No,
I'm not interested in the money, as long as I pay bills, and obviously in relation to Forces Fitness, as long as my bills get paid, and, you know, keep my wife happy. That's the main thing. Happy wife, happy life.
There you go. There you go. Sean, do you know what? It's been a real pleasure, and obviously today has been fantastic. You are an absolute inspiration. And positivity and your energy. I'm all about energy. I can feel your energy here. You've got great energy. And I've come to my last question which is the question I ask all my guests, and that is, if you were to write a message in a bottle, what would that message be?
Okay, so there's two things, if I can.
Absolutely, go for it.
I think from myself is that don't be afraid to try new things, don't be afraid to fail, okay? My big message for me is get out there and just try new things. It's scary, you know, life can be scary sometimes and people are scared to change. I know that because I was one of those people that have given up that salary and making the change. And there's some people that are scared of making a change who are maybe on minimum wage and are scared of making a change. And you think to yourself, do you know what, just do it. Give it a go. It's not the end of the world. And if you fail, at least you can sit in that bar at the end of your life and say, do you know what, I give it a go. Rather than being that person going, I wish I'd done that.
If only.
Yeah.
Awful.
100%.
Sean, where can people find out more about you? What's the easiest way to look you up? And we're going to put all this in the show notes as well.
Fab. So from our side, independent what you want to get in contact with, feel free to link in with me first of all. LinkedIn, I do a lot on LinkedIn, and I think that's a really good platform for business to business massively. From Veterans Awards, if you know a veteran that's doing really good things, because sometimes they're a bit reluctant to put themselves forward, but then they're really happy when someone puts them forward. So, you know, some of them are third-party nominations. It's about a 50-50 split, I think, down the middle, really, of that. So get in touch with www.veteransawards.co.uk. Again, we're on LinkedIn, Twitter, all the usual jazz with social media. And again, Forces Fitness, if you're interested in sort of any health and wellbeing projects we run residential weekends, employability bootcamp programs, we run a lot of different stuff. Feel free to get in touch at www.forcesfitness.co.uk.
Sean, it's been a real pleasure, and thank you for inviting me here as well.
No, thank you for coming, honestly. It's been really great, and I think all the guys and the ladies that you spoke to have really felt how positive you are, and thanks for your piece on camera. It's been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Hope you enjoyed the show. Remember, there's a new interview out every Monday, so hit subscribe and like, and you'll get it straight into your inbox. This show is sponsored by the Veterans Channel. The Veterans Channel is an on-demand and free video streaming service. The Veterans Channel gives a voice to servicemen and women, allowing them to share their experience in unique and authentic ways. Watch the Veterans Channel at www.theveteranschannel.com or download the Veterans Lifestyle app to get instant access to all the great content.